and it's good food, but without that pretentious atmosphere around it.
So yeah, because I used to love. This is not like politically correct at all, but we used to call it gay food back in the day.
Yeah.
Like I used to love using tweezers to play and just fucking. I used to love foams and using
gels
and the plating. I used to love plating almost more than I used to like cooking at one point.
Perfecting the rocher.
But now I couldn't think of anything fucking gayer or like worse than like I will go to a nice restaurant and I will appreciate what they've done because I know how fucking much how prep heavy those restaurants are.
Yeah.
And shout out to the people that never even get to fucking do a service because they're there for 8 hours previously.
Just picking
Picking fucking herbs and
yeah.
washing herbs and fucking julienning fucking vegetables all day. Like no one even sees those people.
No, especially when you've got like a huge operation like Noma.
Oh, fuck that. You gotta like. I wanted to do a stage. I was looking at doing stages like when I was at like the peak of my career kind of thing. I was looking at doing stages somewhere, and I was gonna try and go to Noma. That was obviously everyone's goal, but it was like a year or two wait list, and you did it for free for like 6 weeks.
To think that you got to wait to do something. For
it's
free
like for El Bulli, the stage list for El Bulli was fucking years.
Yeah. And but then if you got a stage there, man, that's like the golden ticket anywhere.
If that's on your resume, you're laughing. Like you're just fucking laughing. But I like more rustic food now. I think there's more heart in it than in rustic food.
Yeah, I do. I feel like at the start of my career, I was like,
everyone does. I think everyone goes through that.
I think it's because it seems so unattainable. And then when you get exposed to those environments, like when you first start, you see these 2-3 star places or 3 hat places, and you're like, you look at these dishes and then you think about where you're working, and you're like, shit, man, like, how are they producing this consistently over and over and over again? And then the more you learn about the industry, you realize that there might only be, in a video that you see of the restaurant, there might only be 6 or 7 chefs on service. But then what you don't see behind the scenes is there's 30 people working there for free,
cutting the potatoes and doing all the herb work. And
man,
like it's crazy. I remember, when I was in Sydney, the sous chef there, I forgot his name. He was from Holland. He was at a 3 Michelin star restaurant previous to coming to. He was a head chef of a 3 Michelin starred restaurant previously coming to Sydney.
Yeah.
And the chef under him worked at Noma.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mad. And when you do meet
they are not
chefs,
humans.
No.
Like when you think of like a Michael Jordan or like an extreme winner in a sport, these people are so dialed in, they don't fuck around. There's no like grab ass humor. There's no
and the craziest part is they're just, no one knows them. Because they're not these celebrity chefs.
They're not celebrity
chefs.
There's
not this allure in cooking for the most part when you get to sort of the serious fine dining side. No one's doing it to become rich and famous.
No, they're doing it to be the best.
To prove, for some reason they feel like they have to prove something, or they're that obsessed with it that's why they do it.
Yeah, I'd hate to break it to a lot of people, but Jamie Oliver, Gordon Ramsay, and all those those celebrity chefs, they might be good chefs, but they are nowhere near the greatest chefs in the world.
No.
They are the most accomplished.
And they do amazing things for the industry.
Community. They do amazing things, but they are like a speck on the boot of some of these chefs. When you're in the kitchen and you're under pressure, and see, I don't think Gordon would be able to do a Michelin-starred service now. Surely
he's probably so out of practice. He could definitely like head up the Parsons Steel Cool service.
I wouldn't even be
to
able
put him on like a meat section.
He'd be fucked. He'd be fucked.
And that's not me saying that like I could go into a restaurant Gordon Ramsay and do it.
We're talking specifically Michelin-starred restaurant services. They're like surgeries.
Yeah,
they are like there is not one fucking element that goes wrong. That's what
when
makes
I was working in this Italian joint in London. I worked with this guy. I can't remember. He was Sri Lankan and had this wonderfully complicated name, but everyone just calls me Gary, right? And I would go in the morning. It'd be 6 a.m. starts, and I would be just like in the shit the whole day, just a prep list that seemed like it wouldn't end. I'm running. I would have to spend an hour and a half in the morning.
I did not miss that at all.
Just doing herbs. I would have to dice 1 centimeter squares of basil leaves. I would have to chop 2 bunches of chives on a white chopping board to be able to take the chopping board to whoever was running, the head chef, the sous chef, the junior sous, whoever was in charge that day, to show them my board and that it wasn't green, so I wasn't bruising the herbs. Otherwise, if it was, that would have to go onto the staff food shelf, and then I'd have to start again, and then I'm then even further behind.
If your knife's not fucking sharp enough, they yell at you.
Well, they were like, just buy a herb knife.
Yeah.
Don't use it for anything else apart from herbs, you know. And that's what I did, and it's through the hard moments like that that sort of shape you into who you are now. But this Gary guy, he was, excuse me, he was working there as a stage. He's an adult. He's got a wife. He's got kids and stuff. I don't know what his wife did. I just know that she was the main breadwinner. They had their whole life planned out that he's going to do all these stages. He staged at like Restaurant Gordon Ramsay, the Ledbury, all of these incredible restaurants in London and around the world. And I would be running, man, and like on the edge of having an anxiety attack because I was that in the shit all the time.
And your head gets hot.
And I would just like, I'd go into the fridge and my chest would get all tight and I'd just like have a moment. And I'd be like, all right, come on, you got to keep fucking going. So you go out, you carry on. And then I'd look over at this guy, just stoic, just prepping with a paring knife. That's it. Just there.
Dude, the best chefs I've ever worked with have all been Asian or Indian. But because they don't have... They got like funny humour, but they don't fuck around like Australians do.
Yeah.
Like they don't come to work to have like any
to
sort
make
of
friends.
fun.
No, they're there to do
Especially the best chefs I've ever worked with have all been Asian, pretty much. Or like because they're just freaks. They just come to work, do their job, but they do it in such an efficient way. You're like, how are you moving so slowly? Like they don't.
Their list is done in 2 hours before.
They're not frantic. They're not frantic people at all. Like, I'm a fucking cowboy. I was always a cowboy in a kitchen. Like, but you need at least one.
yeah. And then
I'm either going to ruin the day or save the day.
I'm done. I'm gonna like service is done. I don't have any prep for tonight. I'll be back at 5, and I'd be there like, what do I need to do to be this level of man? You know. And it turns out that I left the restaurant there to move back down home and start organising going travelling because I was doing 18-hour days, 3 hours sleep. I was 18, 19 at the time, and I was like...
so you were still working in the UK at this age?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I left the UK.
Those kitchens also, for people who aren't in the industry, UK kitchens and European kitchens in general are a lot harder to work in than, I believe, Australian kitchens.
From my experience,
because the chefs are a lot harder.
It's that old school style,
and they got a lot more of they're a lot more serious. It's more higher stakes because there's more competition there.
Yeah, definitely, and with the fact that most fine dining restaurants in other parts of the world trying to get Michelin stars.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is in Australia, yes, you can get hats, but...
See, why don't they bring... I've always fucking wondered why they just don't bring them here. We have fucking... I could name probably 4 restaurants that would have 3 Michelin stars.
Yeah, 100%.
Easy.
You know, like with Botanic
would have at least 2 or 3. Like, Attica would have 3.
Yeah.
That was like the fucking...
Vaudemont would at least have
one or 2. You know, there would be fucking hundreds of 1-star restaurants in Australia.
Yeah.
Hundreds.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't. Because there's not many countries that, as far as I'm aware, that they don't cater to.
It's so weird. They have them in... Like, I'm going to Japan. I can't wait. I'm going to eat my first 3 Michelin-starred restaurant. Yeah. I've never eaten at one. Ever.
Not even a 1-star?
No. I've eaten at a few 1-stars when I was in Europe, but I never ate at 3 Michelins because I was always fucking drunk. Like,
I was
always...
And it's expensive, man.
And honestly... The street food's better than most of those restaurants.
And I think if you're going to do it and just go to one place for a 3-star experience, Japan is the place.
Yeah, it's going to be the fucking spot. And I'm really trying to get into that Zero Sushi. I know it's not. It's probably not. Yeah. It's probably not the best sushi in Japan. It's probably
but it's a story behind
but
it
it's
as
just
well,
going there, like, and having him or his son serve you sushi. It would be such a fucking experience.
Man, like that's
such a fabulous documentary. If no one's seen it.
It's just art form. I feel like it stands up to, if not is better than, the caliber of Chef's Table.
I was going to say, they Chef's Table 100,000% drew so much inspiration from Jiro because that show is filmed so well. It gives me goosebumps thinking about some of those.
It's beautiful, man.
Like,
and I feel like whenever I start to feel a bit less passionate about what I do,
you watch Chef's Table
I
or
watch
Jiro.
Chef's Table or something like that.
Chef's Table's so good,
man,
bro.
Just the not even so much the interview sides of
The
things.
filming and just
It's the shorts of service.
Yeah.
Where it's I don't know, Vivaldi or Bach or whoever it is playing classical music.
They've done it so well.
And it's just like the slow pan across a kitchen that's a time lapse of all these chefs just working and wiping the sides off.
And it shows how fucking shit it can be too. They're like
yeah.
It's not just about all the Chef's Table's a perfect example of the best chefs in the world aren't famous because no one knows who those people are.
Yeah. I was told about...
You got to be so fucking deep into the cooking game to know who these people are.
I was told about, I think it's the first season, the first episode, the Italian chef Massimo Bottura.
Where the
Whoops, I dropped the lemon tart.
Yeah, he had the second or third best restaurant in the world at that point.
First a couple of years and then lost it. And then I think I'm probably wrong. It might have been the first to regain number one position because it's the San Pellegrino world top is the people that sort of rate them when people refer to it being the best restaurant in the world.